Hi everybody. Today we're going to be continuing our series on adjective endings in the German language. Today we're talking about adjectives after ein-words, or indefinite articles. So if you haven't seen the German with Puppets video, go ahead and click on that button up there at the top. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get started. First things first, we have to figure out what do they take for each of the different cases and genders, and whether they are plural or singular and all of that mess. So, first thing on here is nominative case. We have er after an ein-word, so it would be things like ein kleiner Matrose, which is a song that I plan on doing here in a few weeks. Eine kleine Frau, a small woman. Ein kleines Mädchen. Or keine kleinen Kinder. In the accusative case, it becomes en for the masculine form, so it would be einen kleinen Mann. The accusative ones for the rest of them stay the same, so we have I for eine kleine Frau, es for ein kleines Mädchen, and keine kleinen Kinder for the plural. And then after that, all of them are en for the dative and genitive cases, so you don't have to worry about what it is if there's an ein-word in front of the adjective, and it is in either one of those two cases, in the dative case or in the genitive case, it's always going to be an en, so that makes things really easy. So once you get past the accusative case, you can just start guessing en all the time. I do want to highlight a couple of things that are different, and that is in these first two cases here, we have that nice little Oklahoma-looking shape there, and that is E-R-E-E-S, and then just E-N-E-S, and those are the ones that are not en. So really you only have to memorize a total of 6, because you memorize these 5 when they're not en, and then everything else is en. Makes things a little bit easier than what you have for the non-preceded ones, which we'll get to here in a couple of weeks. Now for some practice. The main problem is finding out what is the ending that we need on the ein-word, what is the ending that we need on the adjective, but in order to figure that out, we need to know what is the case and what is the gender of the noun that we're using adjectives on. So, each one of these will take some kind of an ending, and if there's not an ending needed, so most of the time that's going to be on the ein-word, then you're going to use an X in the blank. So the first thing in this first sentence is anstatt. Anstatt is a genitive preposition, which means that whatever is after it is automatically genitive. Mantel has an S at the end of it, which means that it's masculine and genitive. So now we have to have an ES at the end of our ein-word to show that it's genitive. Because we have an adjective after an ein-word in the genitive case, it's always going to be en, no matter what the gender is. Now, the rest of the sentence we have to actually read through so that we can figure out what case the Anzug is in. In this one it says, Anstatt eines billigen Mantels kaufe ich mir lieber. Instead of buying an expensive coat, I would prefer to buy myself a expensive suit. So here we're going to use a suit, which is an Anzug, which is accusative and masculine. So the accusative masculine ein-word takes an en, and accusative masculine after an ein-word also takes en for the adjective. So our full sentence ends up being, Anstatt eines billigen Mantels kaufe ich mir lieber einen teuren Anzug. Die Feiertage von ein blank blank Erwachsener sind nur zum Schlafen. In this one we have yet another preposition, we have von. Von is a dative preposition, so whatever is after it is dative. Erwachsener is a feminine noun, it's a female grown-up. So here we have the feminine dative einer, and then we have to have the dative ending after an ein-word, which is en for all of the adjectives. Die Feiertage von einer langweiligen Erwachsener sind nur zum Schlafen. The vacation days of a boring grown-up are only for sleeping. Die Jugendlichen gehen im Herbst zu. Zu is another dative preposition, so whatever is after it is dative. Schule is a feminine noun. Ihr is a possessive here, which takes the same endings as the ein-words and therefore acts the same way whenever you're using an adjective. So here we have ihr, and we need to add the feminine dative, er, to the end of it. Since it's dative and after an ein-word, we have to have en at the end of the adjective. Die Jugendlichen gehen im Herbst zu ihrer neuen Schule. Die Laune ein blank blank Stiefmutter ist nie gut. Here we want to say the mood of a evil stepmother is never good. Since it has of the in English whenever we say this is our genitive case again. Stiefmutter is a feminine noun, which is why you don't see an S at the end of it for the genitive case. Here we have to have an er at the end of the ein-word for the genitive feminine, and since it's genitive and after an ein-word, we just add en to the end of the adjective. Die Laune einer bösen Stiefmutter ist nie gut. The mood of an evil stepmother is never good. Die Preise blank blank CDs sind toll. Here we have an S at the end of CD. That is not actually indicating the genitive case, although it is in the genitive case. This S actually is the plural form of CD. CD is of course a CD in English, and in the plural takes an S. We do have a genitive thing here because it says die Preise seien blank blank CDs. We want here the plural genitive, the price of his new CDs. ER for the plural ending for the ein-word, and then an EN because all of the plural ones take an EN, and also all of the genitive one takes an EN, which means that we have two separate rules that we can identify that tell us that we need an EN here. Nummer 6. Die Tochter blank blank Tante besucht uns. Here we have a genitive case again. Tante is a feminine noun, so we use the feminine genitive meine, and then we need the genitive ending after an ein-word, which is always en. The daughter of my old aunt is visiting us. Die Tochter meiner alten Tante besucht uns. Nummer 7. Ein blank blank Junge steht dort. Here we want to say, a small boy is standing there. So we have no ending on the ein-word because this is in the nominative case and it's a masculine noun, so the ein-word is just ein. The reason we have the er here for the adjective ending is because we don't show the gender through the ein-word, so we have to identify the gender of the noun and the case of the noun through the adjective. So we have ein kleiner Junge steht dort. A small boy is standing there. Nummer 8. Hat von sein blank blank Freunden lange nichts gehört. He has not heard anything from his cool friends in a long time. Here we have Freunden, which ends in an en. The plural of Freund is e, which means that this in here is indicating that it's dative plural. Also you have von, which is a dative preposition. So this one we have to have the plural dative, which is en for the end of the ein-word, and en for the end of the adjective. Hat von seinen coolen Freunden lange nichts gehört. Forever alone. Will kein blank blank Film sehen. He doesn't want to see a gruesome film. Here we have film, which is a masculine noun, and it's the thing being seen, or in this case, not being seen. Here we have that ein-word, kein, which is negating the film, and so we have to have here en for the accusative masculine. Since it's accusative masculine and after an ein-word, we have here en as well for the end of the adjective. Will keinen grausamen Film sehen. Nummer 10. Here we have a command. You'll notice that we have an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence, and also our verb does not have an st at the end of it, even though it says gib, give. Here we want to say, give your superstitious friend a great gift. So we have Freund, which is a friend, and that's the one receiving the Geschenk, which is a gift. So we have to have here the masculine dative, deinem. Since it's dative after an ein-word, we know that it's en for the end of the adjective. Gib deinem abergläubischen Freund ein. Here we have to have an ending for ein that goes with Geschenk in the accusative case, but Geschenk is a neuter noun, which means that we don't have to have an ending at all. It's just ein. Toll then has to show us the gender in the case of the noun, which tells us that we have to have an es here. Gib deinem abergläubischen Freund ein tolles Geschenk. Give your superstitious friend a great gift. Habt ihr blank blank Bücher gelesen? Have you not read any interesting books? Here we have books, which is Bücher, which means that we have to have plural stuff here. We already know that means that the adjective has an en because the only ones we've covered so far are after der words or after ein-words, and both of them take ens for the plurals. But we still have to establish what goes at the end of the ein-word here. This one is accusative and plural, so we have an e at the end of the ein-word and an en at the end of the adjective. Habt ihr keine interessanten Bücher gelesen? Have you not read any interesting books? Nummer 12. Ist die Tür blank blank Zimmers zu? Here we want to say, is the door of her large room closed? Zimmers has an s at the end of it indicating the genitive case. That also tells us that this is either a neuter or a masculine noun. In this case, it's neuter. So now we have to have an es at the end of the ein-word, ihres, and then we have to have an adjective that goes with that. In the genitive case, all of them after ein-words are automatically en. Ist die Tür ihres großen Zimmers zu? Is the door to her large room closed? Magst du blank blank Krawatte? Do you like my brown tie? Krawatte is a feminine noun, so the ein-word here in the accusative case has to have an e. Accusative adjectives after an ein-word in the feminine, we have to have an e also at the end of the adjective. So here we have Magst du meine braune Krawatte? Do you like my brown tie? Nummer 14. Mein blank blank Bettwäsche kommt aus blank blank Stadt in Süddeutschland. Here we have two of them. The first one here is Bettwäsche. Bettwäsche is actually the subject of this sentence, and it means bed linens. In English it's plural, but in German it's actually a singular feminine noun, so here we have meine. Schmutzig has to have an adjective ending that goes with the feminine nominative. After an ein-word, we have to have here schmutzige. Meine schmutzige Bettwäsche kommt aus. My dirty bed linens come out of, and then we have to have more endings. Here we have aus, which is a dative preposition. Stadt is a feminine noun, so we have to have dative feminine einer. And then all of the dative ones after ein-words are en for the adjective endings. Meine schmutzige Bettwäsche kommt aus einer kleinen Stadt in Süddeutschland. My dirty bed linens come out of a small city in southern Germany. Nummer 15. Blank blank Schwester ist 17 Jahre alt. My older sister is 17 years old. Here we have Schwester as the subject, which is a feminine noun. In the nominative case, we have ein-words ending in e for the feminine, and also the adjective then would take an e as well. Meine große Schwester ist 17 Jahre alt. Nummer 16. Blank blank Schuhe gefallen mir nicht sehr gut. Here we want to say, my dumb shoes are not pleasing to me. In English we would probably phrase this as, I no longer like my dumb shoes, but in German you have to phrase it kind of backwards. Schuhe is a plural noun and is the subject of the sentence, so the ein-word has an e at the end of it, meine. All of the plural ones after ein-words are going to have an en at the end of the adjective. Meine dummen Schuhe gefallen mir nicht sehr gut. My dumb shoes do not please me very well. Blank blank Auto fährt sehr gut. Auto is the subject of this sentence, and so here we have sein, which has no ending at the end of it because we have here a neuter noun in the nominative case, and then we have to show the gender of the noun on the adjective, which is es in this case. Sein verdrecktes Auto fährt sehr gut. His dirty car drives really well. Sie gehen durch blank blank Museum. Durch is an accusative preposition, which means here we need the accusative case. Museum is a neuter noun. In the accusative case, we don't have an ending on the ein-word for that. We do have to have one here on the adjective, however, which is an es for the accusative neuter. Sie gehen durch ein deutsches Museum. They are going through a German museum. Six Flags hat ein blank blank Achterbahn in St. Louis gebaut. Here we have the word Achterbahn. It's the thing being built in St. Louis. Achterbahn is a roller coaster. It's also a feminine noun, so we have to have here in the accusative case an e at the end of the ein-word and an e at the end of the adjective. Six Flags hat eine gefährliche Achterbahn in St. Louis gebaut. Six Flags built a dangerous roller coaster in St. Louis. Wir sprechen mit blank blank Lehrerin. Lehrerin is a feminine teacher, and so we have to have here the feminine endings for things. Mit is a dative preposition, so we have to have the feminine dative endings, which would be er for the ein-word and en for the adjective. Our full sentence then is, Wir sprechen mit unserer netten Lehrerin. That's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of these, go ahead and click on some of those buttons. See you next time. Bye now.